When you hear the word mainframe, what pops into your head? You're probably picturing a giant, room-sized computer from some old black and white movie, right? It's a common image, but what if I told you that this so-called legacy tech is quietly becoming the most powerful secret weapon in the modern hybrid cloud? So how is that even possible? Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just start with a number that might catch you off guard. According to IBM's Institute for Business Value, a whopping 78% of executives say that mainframe applications are critical for their digital transformation. And listen to that wording. Not were critical, but are critical, right now, today. And that brings us to the central puzzle here. I mean, if they're so important, why do we constantly hear that mainframes are slowing everything down? Why are they seen as this old guard, standing in the way of agile cloud-native development? That's the exact question we're going to unpack.
To get to the answer, first, we really need to get a sense of just how deeply embedded these machines are in our everyday lives. These things are not museum pieces, they are the absolute engines of the global economy. And this timeline really tells the story. The mainframe isn't some fossil that stopped evolving decades ago. I mean, look at this. From the System/360 way back in 1964, all the way to the planned Z17 in 2025, it's been a platform of constant, serious investment and evolution. This is not a forgotten relic. It's a continuously upgraded superhighway. So who's driving on this superhighway? Oh, just the biggest players on the planet. We're talking about the core systems for banking, for government, for telecommunications. And here's the crucial part. The whole conversation has shifted. Companies aren't trying to rip these systems out. In fact, 92% are actively looking to modernize them, and only a tiny 6% think they'll ever be totally replaced. So if the hardware is modern and it's absolutely essential, where's the friction coming from? Well, it's not really in the machine itself. It's in the clash of two very, very different worlds. The world of the traditional mainframe developer and the world of the modern cloud-native developer. And you can see that divide so clearly right here. On one side, you've got specialized tools, waterfall development, and teams that are pretty isolated. On the other side, it's all open source, agile, DevOps pipelines, and super collaborative teams. When you try to force these two worlds to work together, you get complexity, you get slowdowns, you get bottlenecks. It's basically a culture clash written in code. For years, it felt like the only solution was to pick a side. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could actually build a bridge between these two worlds and get the best of both?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
That bridge is Linux. It's as simple as that. By running a standard Linux operating system right on the mainframe, you create a common ground. It basically becomes a universal translator. All of a sudden, developers who live and breathe the cloud can work on the mainframe without some massive, steep learning curve. They can just use the tools and workflows they already know and love. And here's how that works under the hood. At the very bottom, you've got different hardware, the mainframe's architecture and the clouds. But look what's sitting right on top of both, the same Linux OS and the same container layer. This creates the single unified platform. An app that's packaged as a container, it doesn't know and it doesn't care if it's running on the mainframe or in the cloud. It just works. And that is the absolute key to breaking down those silos.
So, how do you actually build this thing? It's not one single magic product you buy. It's more like a recipe, and it's made of 4 key open source ingredients that modern development teams are already completely familiar with. Okay, so first you pick a Linux distribution that runs everywhere. Think Ubuntu, SUSE, or Red Hat. Second, you package your apps into containers, which makes them perfectly portable. Third, to manage all those containers, you use Kubernetes. And fourth, you automate the whole shebang with the exact same DevOps tools like Jenkins or GitHub Actions that you're already using for all your cloud stuff.
And the most important part here is familiarity. Just look at this ecosystem. We're talking about Java, Python, Go, Rust, .NET. We're talking Docker and Podman. There's no need to go out and learn a whole new specialized set of skills. The tools your developers are using literally every single day are already here, ready to go on the mainframe. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but what about the results? Bridging this divide isn't just about making developers happy. It delivers massive, measurable benefits back to the business.
Let's start with speed. Remember that innovation roadblock we mentioned at the beginning? Well, this approach absolutely demolishes it. According to a report from IBM and IDC, enterprises are seeing their delivery times cut by up to 40%. That is a huge leap in agility.
And it gets even better. By consolidating workloads onto a modern mainframe running Linux, the total cost of ownership just plummets. We're talking 44% lower than buying brand new distributed x86 servers, and an incredible 75% lower than just maintaining your older server farms.
And in an era where sustainability and energy costs are a huge deal, this number is an absolute game changer. Consolidating onto a single, efficient mainframe can slash energy consumption by up to 91%. I mean, that's not just good for the planet. That is fantastic for the bottom line. So, what does this all add up to? What does it mean for the future of the mainframe? It means we need to stop thinking about it as this separate, isolated island and start seeing it for what it truly is now. The future of the mainframe really rests on three pillars. You've got Linux as the common fabric that makes everything work together. You have Kubernetes as the great unifier for all your apps. And multi-architecture DevOps just becomes the default way you build and ship software, no matter where it's going to run. So here's the big takeaway. The mainframe has finished its transformation. It's no longer a silo. It is a fully integrated, high-performance, and unbelievably secure node in your hybrid cloud, sitting right alongside your public and private cloud environments. Which leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you look at your own IT strategy, is your mainframe a legacy constraint that's holding you back? Or, with the right approach, is it about to become your next and maybe your most powerful competitive advantage?